Okay, Destiny, I'm just going to make a video for you real quick. It looked like you had got this part of it. So the two functions were f of x is x plus 1, and then g of x is 6x squared minus 5x minus 1. So when you were finding, I'm assuming this is how you did this one, you're always going to find what's here first. So the first thing I need to know is what is g of x, which means I just come up here and I know what g of x is because it says g of x equals this. So that's what g of x is. So it's just 6x squared minus 5x minus 1. The second part says whatever this letter is, I'm going to find f of whatever my last answer was. And since I couldn't simplify this, I'm finding f of 6x squared minus 5x minus 1, which means I do what? I go to my f function, which is this one, and wherever I see an x, I replace it with what's in this parentheses. So everywhere I see an x, I'm going to put 6x squared minus 5x minus 1. So I see it right off the bat. There's my x. So that's what I'm going to put in its place. 6x squared minus 5x minus 1. Then after the x comes a plus 1. And then you just combine these like terms. That negative 1 plus 1 just combine and actually cancel each other out, right? Because negative 1 plus 1 is 0. So you're just left with 6x squared minus 5x, which you saw that you had that. Now, this one's a little bit more drawn out. So the first thing you're going to find is f of x. So this tells me I do know what f of x is. F of x is x plus 1. So I'm done with the first step. Now, this comes down. So now I'm finding g of my last answer. What was your last answer? It was x plus 1. Which means now I'm going to go to my g function, which is this one. And wherever I see an x, I'm going to replace it with x plus 1. So here and here. In both of those spots, I need to put x plus 1s instead of the x's. So let's see. I've got 6. Then instead of x, I'm going to put x plus 1. Squared minus 5. Instead of x, I'm going to put x plus 1. And then just bring down that minus 1. So again, you'll notice this right here is exactly this function. And instead of the x's, like they are here, in both those spots, I put x plus 1s. Now I got to figure out what this mess is. I got to do this exponent first. So x plus 1 squared, I'm just going to write it up here, means to multiply x plus 1 times itself. So I'm actually going to have to FOIL here. So my first, x times x gives me x squared. My outer, x times 1 is 1x. My inner, 1 times x is another 1x. And my last, 1 times 1 is positive 1. But I can put these x's together since they're like terms. So that gives me 2 x's in the middle. So I've got x squared plus 2x plus 1. And where did this come from? That's that x plus 1 squared, right? X plus 1 times itself. So now I'm going to have 6 times, instead of x plus 1 squared, now I've got all this, x squared plus 2x plus 1. I'm just going to drop the rest of this down. So I'm going to put in the minus 5 times x plus 1 minus 1. Okay, now I'm going to do that distributing to get rid of these parentheses. So I'm going to distribute the 6 here, and then I'll distribute the negative 5 there. So when I multiply everything in here by 6, I will get 6x squared plus 6 times 2x is 12x plus 6 times 1 is 6. So that multiplied everything in there times that 6. Now multiply everything in here times negative 5. So negative 5 times x is negative 5x. Negative 5 times positive 1 is negative 5. And then just drop down to minus 1. And then clean it up by combining your like terms, starting with the term that has the highest exponent, which is this 6x squared. There were no other x squareds to put with that. Look at here, though. I got an x here and an x here. So I can put those x's together. I've got a positive 12x and a negative 5x, which is positive 7x. So I'm done with those. Now I can put my constants, which is just my plain numbers together. So let's see, what would that put together? That would put together that 6 minus 5 minus 1. And when you put all that together, you actually get nothing, right? Because you have 6 minus 5 is 1. But then you subtract 1 from that, you're left with 0. So these three things just kind of canceled each other out. So you were just left with 6x squared plus 7x.